On this episode of Who Dem, frequently Trump has been saying, I'm trying to make my way into heaven.
Come on, man. Come back to reality. They would say this word skittily, skibbity.
Yeah.
All right, skibbity. And I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Okay, awesome. We're back in D.C. now.
I'm back.
Do things look very different since the last time that you were here?
I haven't really gone out exploring too much to kind of look around, but as we were driving here, I did see a couple National Guardsmen kind of out on the street, which is something that you did not see, something that happened while we were gone. And so I'm sure we will see more of that around.
It's really weird, like going to classes now, because I have to metro into the city and the metro stops that I'm coming from are in Virginia, so no National Guard there. But the second that you start hitting the ones in D.C. now, National Guard standing there. Some people will have guns, other people don't, and I don't know. It's dystopian, for lack of better term.
Yeah, it's just, it's just weird, right? This isn't like our country, right? It isn't something that we have done, and like I've traveled to other places, and I, remember. I remember being in Italy for the first time and seeing like their policemen out there with a machine gun kind of holding it out there. You go to like to Turkey, right? And you see it kind of like things out there and in different places, but it was something that you just never ever saw in the United States. And, now you do, right? I mean, obviously after 9/11, you saw a lot of that and there was reason for it.
Yeah.
Because, we just had the largest terrorist attack to our nation ever. More people died there than they did at Pearl Harbor. So that was kind of, okay, you understood it. Why was it happening, right? We needed there. You go to the airport, and they were everywhere at the airport. But now it's just, why?
Yeah, you have them doing beautification,
I know, they're
picking up trash. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They're spreading mulch. It's like, you were taking them away, people away from their families, taking them away from their jobs. So that they can go and do this, right? It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, no, and not to give into the rhetoric of Donald Trump, but I did for the first time see a crime committed in D.C. during my time here. Mm-hmm. I was getting off the metro, going to one of my classes, and I saw a guy get punched. Coming off the metro, I guess he like bumped into someone, and there was a little bit. I thought it was like two friends like play fighting, like they had seen each other for the first time in a while, and like it was like a little bit of scuffle. But like no, like this guy got swung, he got hit in the chest. It didn't escalate too much, but obviously some punches were thrown. National Guard's there, they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They like I thought the whole point of them being here was to like stop and prevent things like that. They were standing there, watched the altercation happen, and just didn't do anything. Just stood there.
Well, here's the thing, right? They're not law enforcement.
Yeah.
They're not there to take the place of the D.C. police, to be there instead of the D.C. police. That's not their job. And right now they're just a presence that is out there, I guess, for the president thinks like, oh, they'll stop crime just by their presence. But, obviously it didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
So what are they doing instead? It's like you said, right? Beautification. They're working for the National Park Service. They're spreading mulch. They're picking up trash. It's like, stuff that the National Park Service should be doing. But, oh, wait, they cut their personnel and they cut their budget.
Yeah. So now there's no one to do it. And now you got to have the National Guard do it. And it seems, again, it's one of these things that they do often where like they get rid of programs or they get rid of things like the National Park Service, causes a problem, and then it allows them to justify a solution that like no one wanted. They're like, oh, well, now we need the National Guard out there because there's all this trash and all this, the city's so dirty and whatnot. Well, it wasn't like that until you went ahead and got rid of the National Park Service. And who would have guessed that would have been the result, right?
Yeah. It's just idiotic and insane. It's crazy the way it's like, oh, we're going to use them to beautify. We took the jobs away from the people that were actually here working, but we'll have the National Guard do this and step in their place. It's just nonsense.
Yeah, I'm curious. Obviously social media thing is starting to get more popular in the halls of Congress. Do you know anything about this live streamer named IShowSpeed? Your kids ever watch him, anything? So he's this guy that recently has gotten, he's like, I think he's 19, 20 years old, Dylan? Probably around that. So he's a really young guy. And he gets popular live streaming, basically sitting in front of a camera like me and you are, but live for hours and hours a day. And recently, he's been doing this thing where he's been touring either different countries or different continents. He went all across. It started with Europe, so he went all across Europe, and he follows. His team follows him around with backpacks on, and everything is recorded live. And he went to China, and now he's doing a tour of the United States. So I don't know if you saw this, but your colleague, Representative Maxwell Frost, actually gave him a tour of the Capitol the other day.
And where's he from?
He is from. Do you know where Speed's from, Dylan? I think he's from. Well, here you go. Thanks, Jamie. Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but he got really popular too because he started live streaming with Ronaldo because he kept doing the Ronaldo celebration.
Okay.
But yeah, this was him getting a tour of the halls of Congress. So he was in Atlanta first. He toured Mercedes-Benz Stadium with the Atlanta Falcons, and then made his way up to D.C. So he was in D.C. yesterday, and this is him and Representative Maxwell Frost.
He just live streams.
Just
on
live
his tours.
streams. Just live streams, yeah, literally. He sometimes he'll be playing video games. Other times, it's just him running around doing what's referred to as like in real life live streams. And then this is a clip. Let's get this one of him actually going to his office.
Vote.org.
Vote.org.
Go to register to vote. This is me right here.
Maxwell Alejandro
Frost,
Representative Florida.
There we go.
And I don't know if you can. TV keeps cutting out, but I don't know if you saw that in the corner. 70,000 people watching him live.
Really?
Getting a tour, yeah.
That was yesterday.
This was yesterday. Yeah. Let's play this one through.
Vote! Vote.org! Vote.org!
So he's telling everyone down there to go, to vote.org, register to vote. What are your immediate thoughts? What's your reaction to this news? I mean, 70,000 people
I hope they're
watching
listening.
him live.
I hope they're listening and they do go out and register to vote. I think that's when democracy works, right? When people vote. And, if he can't connect, I don't know what his demographics are, but I'm going to assume he's a young man, that he's connecting with young people.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're listening because that's the voting block that, that we need, right? That doesn't vote. And it's just, we need them to get out there. We need them to vote.
Do you think that's going to start to change? Like, I feel like younger people have gotten more involved in politics. Obviously, we're doing a podcast now and
we've
talking.
been saying that for about 30 years.
Yeah? Yeah.
Maybe longer.
So you think it's going to stay?
I hope it does, right? And I hope they do get more involved. I want them to get more involved. I want them to play a role. But there's always going to be those people too. Like I remember when I was running for Congress the first time, knocking on doors and running into this. I went to the door of this, young woman, and she's like, "Why should I vote? Like, nothing ever changes. So why bother?" I still feel like a lot of people still kind of feel like that, right? Which is unfortunate. And, the example I like to give, right? It's like, okay, you say your vote doesn't count, right? But if you had the same amount of people that showed up to vote for Barack Obama, they came out again to vote for Hillary Clinton, she would have won, right? But she didn't. And, she lost, which she did still win the popular vote in that first election. But because they didn't show up, Donald Trump ended up winning, which allowed him to appoint, Supreme Court justices, right? Which allowed them to change, Roe v. Wade and come up with the Dobbs decision. And the people not voting did have a dramatic effect on the direction of this country and what it could do for people.
Yeah, it was a trickle-down effect, right? You think that you're just not voting in one election and that's all that it's going to be. But, I mean, thinking about it from that perspective, like, okay, you didn't vote this one time, and as a consequence, Trump was able to put in three
Supreme Court justices.
Very conservative Supreme Court justices at that. And then, not even when he's in office. The Dobbs decision happens under Biden. So now you're talking, 8 years later or 6 years later, this impact that you weren't even thinking at the time that it could have possibly had an effect 6 years down the line. But now you see that, and it could, 6 years from now have an effect. We don't know what the Supreme Court's going to look like then.
I mean, it kind of makes sense to me now, and I don't agree with it, but Mitch McConnell, for so long, it's like did nothing in the Senate as far as trying to pass legislation. His focus has always been judges, conservative judges. and it has an impact.
Yeah.
It has an impact.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when they are in charge, they are putting in conservative judges who can take the country in a different direction, right? And that's a consequence because people are not showing up to vote.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. It's so interesting. Obviously, you watched Last Week Tonight, like seeing the Leo Leonard story as well, and how the Federalist Society had this idea like 70 years, or what was it, in the 1970s, so 50 years ago about, they had this idea to get, take over the Supreme Court, take over all the district courts as well. And that's another thing that a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah.
It's the district court appointments, because not only did Donald Trump appoint a lot of Supreme Court justices, he got a lot of his judges in to district courts. Now, some of those judges are now voting against him, which they don't seem to be too happy about.
Well,
But
the
again,
law's still the law, right?
Yeah.
There's some things that are black and white, and he doesn't seem to realize that. So it's kind of hard to, like the recent one that came out today in California, right? That said him deploying the National Guard in California without the approval of the governor was illegal.
yeah,
right?
who would have guessed?
Yeah, it's pretty black and white, right? In the law, the way that was written.
Yeah.
He's always trying to circumvent something with some law that was written in 1795 or something like that during the Adams administration or something.
With feather and ink.
Yeah.
Going back to Speed, there was this other clip of him. I think this was near, what was it, Tyson's Corner Mall. Just swarmed.
So is this just, I got to ask this, was this like scheduled, or was it, or people just kind of were live streaming him, seeing he was out there, and so they showed up?
Yeah. So it's called stream sniping. So basically, there was another very big streamer named Gil Cisneros a couple years ago in New York, where he did something similar, where he had an event that he organized, and people found where he was because, actually on the metro yesterday, I was going back home, and there was a group of maybe like 5 or 6 kids. They all had their headphones in, and they were all looking on their phone, and they were looking for IShowSpeed. They were going to try to find him based off of like where his live location was. And so it happened a couple years ago, but he got in trouble. I think he ended up getting arrested because it was like a disorderly conduct. But like, I think it was 5,000 people showed up to this impromptu event that this other streamer hosted, and I think that one had like 140,000 live viewers. Just thinking about the numbers.
I wonder what time that was yesterday, because I was out there in that area. I didn't see that. Yeah, but I'm kind of curious as to what time that was. We were there. I was there around. There's actually a really good pizza place out there. It's in the Tyson's Galleria, which is right next to Tyson's Corner Mall. But I was out there getting a slice and did not see that at all. So I'm kind of curious now what time he was out there.
What's the name of the spot?
Oh my God, it's like
not sponsored, but
yes,
Andy's. I had Andy's earlier today.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah,
Is there one out here in DC?
There's one in Western Market now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, near the Foggy Bottom campus.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a great pizza spot, really.
Yeah.
Dylan disagrees.
It's out by the slice.
Yeah.
Well, you need that like Old Town, Little Italy kind of Boston, Massachusetts kind of pizza.
Well, he's a New Yorker.
Oh, you're from New York with the Boston Red Sox hat on? Oh my God. Oh.
You want to pull the mic close to you, Dylan, just in case? Go for it. Hop on. Yeah, but no, it was actually we have a baseball clip here too. This is another streamer. Now that we're on this roll,
you just have that New York bias, New York pizza bias. It's like if it's not from New York City, it's like it's no good.
Yeah, you can't. I feel like
the water. It's all about the water, right?
That or the New Haven style.
Oh yeah.
I'd say that's
What's it called? Frank Pepe's. I might have to try that one. Okay. All right.
Yeah, Frank Pepe's is. I do know that's one of these spots that's like known as one of the best pizza places in America.
Really?
There's this guy, Dave Portnoy. He owns Barstool Sports and whatnot. He does these pizza reviews. He does one bite. Everybody knows the rules. And he went to Frank Pepe's and rated it very. I think it was the highest rating that he ever gave to a location. So apparently it's a. Maybe we'll have to order a pizza and review it on the show one day.
Okay.
But yeah, this is another streamer, and again, they're doing all of this live. So I always find it so entertaining to see how creative they get with what they're doing during these live streams. But yeah, let's cue this up, Dylan.
Roberto, El Fano, Bronx Community College, también fui a Hostos y también fui a BOCC.
Phantom's Dominican side is on the line.
He's Dominican!
Oh, he's got the pencil bat.
Yeah.
My son has one of those.
Does he?
Yeah.
I think we need to get Phantom on the Democratic Congressional Baseball team next year.
I don't know.
He look like he can hit a game winner. Do your kids watch any of this?
I haven't heard them talk about Phantom. You know, they watch a lot. Like they'll watch video games, right? So, which that I don't understand. Watching people play video games
my parents are the same
online.
way.
But you know, Alexander's really into Zelda, so he's watching a lot of the
nice.
Zelda kind of thing, like how to play it, and I guess to figure out where to go next and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Christopher will watch a lot of funny stuff in here and there. I don't know. I'll have to ask him if they know this guy, Phantom.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. The Riz, the word Riz.
Yeah.
It was made by them. That like it's
really?
a whole group. Yeah,
Yeah.
they like said it on their live streams a bunch, and it got very popular. So much so that it became like an actual
Wow.
word. It's in Webster's dictionary now.
It's funny. They used to always, they still do, right? They would say this word skittily, skittily, skibbity.
Yeah.
Right. Skibbity. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? What is that? And I'm like, you know. But then it just made the dictionary this year.
Yes.
They have Webster's dictionary.
Yeah, no, it's all coming from like
Yeah.
these live streaming groups that are, I mean, they are, you know, you're live for 8-10 hours a day, bound to say something that someone finds very entertaining, catches on, and it becomes, you know, a TikTok trend or whatever.
Yeah.
And the lingo just picks up and it ends up in the dictionary.
You know, what's funny is they were really into MrBeast for like a long time.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like, oh, well, we heard his games and things are fake or like other setups.
Oh, yeah.
So they kind of don't watch him as much.
It's like
as
me
they
figuring
used
out about WWE. Like, what do you mean it's not real?
I think we were all there at one point, right? It's like, what do you mean it's not wrestling's not real?
Yeah, yeah.
See all the blood? Look at all the blood.
Yeah, look at it. They're hitting each other. What do you mean? He's jumping off the top rope and landing on him. How could it not be real? No, that's there's been a lot of different mixed reactions with MrBeast. It's funny because I have a sister that I feel is the same age as your younger boys.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the same thing. I'll come back home and she calls me Unc now.
Oh, God.
She calls me Unc.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't use, and Unc is another one of these new terms, you know, that's getting popularized. But she calls me Unc because I don't use all of these different words and phrases that they're so familiar with because
I feel like that. So, do you guys know that show, The Bear?
I do. I love The Bear.
I feel like that came from that. Like they use that. They would call the one. They'd call him Unc.
Yes.
Unc.
They called him Unc.
Yeah. And then in the first year, they would use, and I haven't really kind of heard them in the last season at all, but although they were explaining it, but how they would call each other cousin. They weren't cousins, but cousin.
Yeah.
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 But I feel like that Unc kind of came from The Bear because I never heard of it. Like people just calling somebody Unc until.
Well, I think it got popularized before The Bear, but it's funny to see The Bear picks up on a lot of those cultural things that are like trendy within the younger generations and like on social media and whatnot. I didn't know that you were a Bear fan. I love The Bear.
Yeah.
Like I have just finished the 4th season, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. But every time a new season comes out, I'm done with it in like a week.
What do you think of that last episode?
That was good.
Yeah.
That was really, really. The writing for a show like that. It's
Very
just
dramatic, huh?
Very dramatic. Very dramatic.
It's almost like it was like play.
Yeah.
Like it was just right there. 3 act. No, actually, well, 3 mainly, and then a guy. What's her name? Sugar. Is that
Yes.
it? Yeah. Shug.
Shug.
They call her Sugar.
Yeah, they call her Shug. Shug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she just kind of showed up at the end.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he's leaving. He's like, oh. But I mean, it was very like dramatic. Right there. Yeah.
What do you think it deserves to be categorized as a comedy?
It has its funny bits and pieces, but I wouldn't say it was. I would say it's more drama than it is comedy.
Right? Because a lot of people are upset because it is classified as a comedy, so it wins all of these awards for like best comedy and whatnot. Because like, how could it not win awards? But I mean, the acting on that show is just
the guys like who aren't like the main characters are the ones who really provide the comedy, right? It's like those brothers who kind of just like
the
work.
facts.
They work in a sandwich shop, and then the other the guy with all the tattoos, which I can't think of his name right now.
They're the facts.
Yeah, but he's actually the consultant on the show too. He's the chef. He's the actual.
Really? Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So he's behind the scenes. He's actually the one that's so
He's
interesting.
the one who's like talks about the restaurants. He's the chef. He's the actual chef that's a consultant on the show.
Oh my
And
goodness!
and they got him in there acting as well.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow, teaching me something new about the show. I love the scene where he just can't put his hands down in this new season. He's
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Supposed to be fancy. Come on, this is nice.
And like, can I hold the baby? Can I hold the baby? No.
Not letting Fak hold the baby. No, it's a great show, and I can't remember her name now, but I'm terrible. One of my fatal flaws is names.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with names, but the chef that owns the restaurant with Jeremy Allen White, I can remember the actor's name, but her facial expressions and the way that she can just capture emotions just without saying anything. I mean, I think she's going to be a great actress for years to come.
Yeah. I mean, she's got. It's funny. She has kind of like a dry sense of humor on the show too, right?
Yeah.
Where she'll say something just kind of like funny. Yeah, but no, it is a really good show. I do enjoy it.
So, I started watching this one last night too. This is definitely rated R, so beware. But it's called The Hunting Wives.
I think I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think it just came out recently. It was based off of a novel, I think, of the same name, I'm assuming. But it's really interesting. It's like this political consultant from Boston moves down to Texas, like Austin, Texas. And there's just a bunch of very interesting secrets that this individual who's trying to run for governor has. And it's like a community of hunting wives, very rich women that are married to very influential men, and they do just secretive whatevers, and this one character is kind of getting involved in it, and follows kind of that basic trajectory of the outsider being informed of what this new group that she's a part of really is. But it's really interesting, and I just binged 2 episodes last night, burned through them, and so I'm excited to pick up on it. But I would recommend it if you haven't gotten a chance to see that yet.
Hunting Wives.
Yeah. Anything on your radar that you've been watching?
I mean, right now it's baseball season, so I'm watching a lot of like, especially Dodger games. Yeah. That's kind of takes up a lot, but I think I just finished The Bear. I think I've talked about my vices before, right? Is I actually like reality TV, so I'm watching. I just started watching the Below Deck.
I have not heard of Below Deck.
Oh, you haven't heard of that?
No.
Oh my God.
No.
The It's about these people who work on yachts, these super yachts, and and they have these like guests that just kind of show up, everything, right? And it's about how they interact with the guest and how they interact with each other, and it's just just crazy, right? Just to kind of like dip into their lives and what they're kind of doing there.
Yeah. We have to watch. Maybe we'll react to it on sometime on the podcast. But we have to watch the reality show that Jolly was on. Can't remember what it was called off the top of my head, but that Jolly was on some. Dylan, could we actually search this up? The show that Jolly Good Ginger was on, but he was on some reality show. He actually ended up winning it. Spoiler alert, but he ended up winning it. It was Survive the Raft. I don't know if you've heard of it, but yeah, he was on it. There you go. Stars Russell Ellis right there, our very own Jolly Good Ginger, friend of the show.
Oh,
yeah. But speaking of sports and baseball season's obviously coming to an end, I hear the Red Sox are in a contentious battle to get some good seeding. College football started this weekend. Are you a college football guy? You follow it?
I do watch it. I really didn't watch too much this weekend. Spend time with the family and stuff the last weekend before the boys went back to school. But I do watch.
Yeah. There was this clip. I don't know if you got a chance. This Barstool, David Portnoy's Barstool, had this clip popularized, but love to get your thoughts on it. Then the TV screen keeps going black, but just give it a second here. There you go. Perfect. Very passionate response to some heckling. Barstool responded to this, and they said,
"What was that? LSU?
This is LSU versus Clemson."
Okay,
looks like an LSU fan.
Yeah.
flipped the bird to a Clemson fan, and the Clemson fan, I don't know if responded in kind is the right term there, but responded. And Barstool said, I don't know if you've heard about this, but fuck around and find out has been a term that's been popularized on the internet. And Barstool said that, you know, if you're going to do something like that, you should be ready for a response. And the response, it's funny to watch this generational battle go on online, because like I feel like older generations are like, yeah, if you do something like that, you should, you know, be ready to get some type of response. Younger generations are like, that's so uncalled for, so unprompted. Like the kid's obviously messing around. What's your take?
You know, I think sometimes people push the boundaries, and I mean, it was just a few years ago, right? It wasn't that long ago where some guy was doing some prank things. He was like filming them and doing, but he was trying to prank people that weren't in on this, or, you know, it's not like, you know, when I was a kid, it was kind of towards the end, and I think we would just see the reruns, but it was actually a TV show that my parents were on, right? Or not my parents were on, but they watched when they were growing up, called like Candid Camera, where you would kind of like do something, you know, they'd film you in some kind of weird situation or something, right? Or even like Pranked, you know, with, with that show that was on MTV for like a while, which you may not even know what that is.
I have seen some pranked clips. Yeah.
Where it was kind of, you're putting these people in the scenes and it's kind of there and protected, right? But you have these people who just are taking that concept and like, oh, I'm just going to go out there and do it to like anybody, right? You know, like Pranked, right? It was like they're pranking celebrities like Beyonce, Justin Timberlake, Mia Kunis, you know? So it's all like kind of fun and games there, right? The only dangerous one I saw there was The Rock almost went ballistic on somebody because they told him.
I think I know what clip you're talking. I've seen two. I think the Selena Gomez and The Rock one.
Yeah. But, you know, these people are going out there and doing it. And I think it is kind of crazy that they're doing this and you don't know what's going to happen. Like I was saying, you know, this kid was doing this to like people at a mall court, food court, and the guy ended up shooting him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think if I were people like that, I would kind of like, maybe we should be a little more conscious of what we're doing here and who we're doing it to and kind of, you know, what it is we're doing. You know, if you're going to like throw something in somebody's face just to kind of see, so you can film what their reaction might be. Yeah. That may not be the smartest thing.
Yeah, it was a big trend. I want to say like 10 years ago on YouTube, and they weren't called pranks; they were called social experiments. So they would make, but it was essentially the same concept. This isn't
John Quinones and what would you do, right? It's like, you know, these aren't like controlled environments where you know they have people there, kind of like actors and kind of acting it out, and you know, this is just random people going up to random people trying to get the reaction and. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know what's going to happen.
It's risky.
Yeah, this is not a lighthearted transition, but I don't know if you heard about what happened in Texas with the kid ding dong ditching.
Oh, yeah.
What is happening?
I don't know. That, I mean, to me, that's an overreaction, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was you know, it was a game I played when I was a kid, right? We would go, and the worst we ever got was some little old lady kind of walking down the street after us. But, you know, nobody ever thought to pull their gun or do anything, right? It's just, that is just way over the top.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, I think that's like every generation.
Well, yeah. But
is Ding Dong Ditch. Like Ding Dong Ditch is a game that everyone recognizes, everyone plays it. I feel like at some point, if you're outside as a kid, you'll go.
I feel like, you know, like with that clip you showed, right? It's extremes.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to go up to a guy and flip him off in his face, I mean, you got to be prepared to like kind of for some kind of reaction back.
Yeah, yeah. Especially at like a college sports game, you know, drinks are going around.
And at the same time, right, too, you know, was that the best reaction that the guy had? Probably not. Yeah. No. You know, to go after and attack the guy and start choking him out.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is just, it's like both sides on the extreme, right? It's like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like to your point, with social media, like people are like looking for this type of attention. They're looking to get reactions out of people so that they can get, you know, kudos. He got his viral clip. He ended up getting choked out and probably sent to the hospital, but he got his few million views, and I guess he'll have a smile on his face with a neck brace on. But
I mean,
No.
this isn't like crank anchors where you're like making calls, like crank calls and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
It's just nuts.
Yeah, I wonder if younger generation. That's something that I did grow up, doing prank calls every once in a while. But I wonder if like that's even a thing anymore.
Well, I don't think nobody answers their phone.
Yeah,
anymore,
nobody.
yeah.
It's all spam likely. I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like.
Prank text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I did want to do the CEO. We were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, but you said that you had already seen this, but for the viewers that haven't, we'll play this clip real quick, giving some context.
A Polish millionaire is speaking out today after facing backlash for stealing a hat from a child at the U.S. Open this week, and it wasn't to apologize. Yikes. This happened after a match when tennis star Kamil Myshak was signing autographs.
All right, we can pause it and we can go. Did you saw that? I'm assuming on Twitter or whatnot.
Yeah, I saw it on the news.
Yeah.
Remember, I still watch the news actually. Remember? So I actually saw it on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your immediate
No,
reaction?
it was like, I mean, he totally like took it from that kid. He was handing it to him. Wasn't like in his direction. He just reached over and snatched it.
Yeah.
It's like some of the times you see those like, kids taking adults taking foul balls away from kids, like at a major league game or something, right? It's just, it wasn't meant for you.
No.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I feel like you're an adult. Like, let the kid have his moment.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand it to an extent. Like, okay, you're excited, whatnot. But you're an adult. Like, obviously, it was meant for this kid who's trying to have this very exciting moment.
Yeah.
Time for a quick message from our sponsors. This episode of Who Dem is brought to you by Elect Dems Now. We all know that podcasts are the future. They give us the chance to connect with our elected officials like never before. That's why Elect Dems Now is committed to helping voters engage with the people who represent us. Supporting organizations that bring us closer to our elected officials is crucial to advancing and advocating for the change we want to see. Whether it's $5 or $50, every donation to Elect Dems Now helps shape our future and ensures a country we can all be proud of. Your support sends a clear message to candidates and elected officials. Connecting with you means connecting with America. To contribute and make a difference, visit electdemsnow.org today. Your donation helps build a world where we are all connected. Paid for by Elect Dems Now, electdemsnow.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
But, I will say from what I heard too about the tennis player, he did actually end up giving that kid like a lot of souvenirs and stuff to kind of make up for that. Yeah. So, at least there was one good guy there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's another instance as well. Like sometimes social media, not so great. Other times you get things like this and, the kid gets his day. I think now more than the hat, he's like you're saying, he's gotten a lot more things, which is good. I was curious. We haven't talked about this on the show, but did you watch the astronomer CEO situation that happened at like the Coldplay concert a couple weeks ago? People were comparing this to that, and the CEO was like, "Let's not make it, a situation like the Coldplay concert." Just so so wild. It's such a random situation to get called out in.
Yeah, I mean, two different situations, but neither one of them good, right? So, yeah, I mean, look, there's no defense there, and I don't know why. Again, I don't know who that guy is or what, and they didn't even say his name or really give any details about him.
Yeah, let's go back to the tweet.
Did it?
It might. I think at the top. Let's see. Here you go. Polish millionaire. One of them had what company he was for, but no. To your point, they really don't give you a lot of details about him.
Yeah, but it's just crazy, right? It's first come, first serve. Yeah, that's like I'm gonna give you another movie analogy, right?
Let's see if I know this.
Did you ever see Something About Mary? Hey, you guys got to go back and watch some old movies.
I've been planning to.
But there's like. The main character, Mary, is dating this other kind of shady character guy who's putting himself off as something that he really isn't. And that's played by Matt Dillon. But, she like takes him to meet his brother, and his brother's like a kid with special needs who needs help and stuff and living with a bunch of other people who need special needs. But, he's like playing flag football against them and kind of like running them over, straight arming them in for to run to the touchdown, and then kind of putting it in their face, beating them at checkers and taking their money. It's just like, I mean, that's kind of like what that is. I mean, these are kids, right? It's like you don't kind of do that to a kid.
Yeah, and I am curious. I wonder if like it will end up impacting his business because, I mean, I wouldn't want to do like if that's the mentality that you kind of have. Like, is that the mentality that you're gonna have in a negotiation?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, okay, if I get to screw you over in some way, that's fair game because you didn't have your lawyers read the contract well enough, or you didn't, you know, we made a handshake deal and I'm not gonna abide by it because you know it's a first come first serve world.
Yeah.
It's just a gross mentality to
You
have.
know, who knows what he's gonna do with that hat or whatever, right? Because like, you know, you go to like a lot of stadiums and things like that, right? And they won't sign like balls and stuff for like adults because, you know, you'll see spring training, you go to baseball spring training, and you have these guys who just got folders and like backpacks of like photos of players that they want to get autographed and signed, right? It's not, you know, they're looking to sell them, right? So they're not, I'm not going to sign your stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they're really only kind of do it for kids or whatever. Kids or women is who they
Yes.
do it for.
Yeah, right. No, I've seen some videos of like dads like giving the cards to the kid and like being like, hey, like go get it signed.
I mean, I do that to my kids too. I'm like, hey, well, go get their autograph,
Yeah.
right? It's like, go get it and go ask. It's like, you know, I took you know, Alexander, my son Alexander, to batting practice before one day before a Dodger game, and you know they set up a thing there, and you get to watch him do batting practice, and the players come over. Not all of them, like Shohei Ohtani didn't come over,
Sure.
but you know Mookie Betts did. My son got Mookie Betts' autograph,
Nice.
and you know, but you know, yeah, it's for kids, right? Let the kids have it. Let them have the fun, and let them get it, right? It shouldn't be. You know, it's not one to like go out there and get like souvenirs or to go so you can cash in on this.
Yeah, no, that's not the point. Like you said, it's for kids to have their moments and have a little bit of fun. I also wanted to ask you, were you following everything that was going on with Trump this weekend and like some of the stuff on Twitter where there was some speculations that he might not be doing so well?
You know, I didn't really kind of notice it this weekend. I just kind of caught up for a little bit today. That was some of the kind of the talk.
Yeah.
Kind of going on, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, usually he's out on the golf course anyway, right? So like it's not like you hear too much from him on the weekend anyway, right?
Yeah.
Unless he's cheating at his golf game.
Yeah, right. Getting the ball thrown on the ground a little bit closer to the hole for him. Like it's so, again, speaking of childish and like children, like childish behavior, like come on, just play the game. If you don't do well, you don't do well. But no, he got earlier today, he was doing an interview. Actually, if we have this one in the Slack, Dylan, I think I just sent it as one of the last ones, but he was doing an interview relating to the Space Force Command Center.
Spacecom.
Yeah.
Space Command.
They're going
to move to Alabama.
Yeah, move it back to Alabama to undermine Biden. But he got asked about some of the hoopla that was going on about him being dead this past weekend, and this was his response. Audio's not on.
But about a big viral. How did you find out over the
Just give it a second. It'll pop back on. We'll just replay the clip.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. You know, I have heard it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the week.
Yeah, we can cut it here.
I don't know. What's a truth?
A truth is, you know how he has Truth Social that he bought, like his own version of Twitter?
Okay.
So instead of a tweet, it's a truth. Yeah. I guess if you call it that, people will have to think that it is the truth. But
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know what the big deal was about this weekend.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's present like any weekend.
Yeah.
He's always gone, right? He's always off playing golf somewhere at one of his resorts, whether it be Mar-a-Lago or that one in New Jersey or somewhere else. I mean, unless there is some actual scheduled kind of, national or, the G7's meeting or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see him at all.
No, yeah, I think the problem was that it had gone like, I think last Tuesday was the last time that he had given like the White House press pool an opportunity to ask him any questions or anything. And so it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and he had no events scheduled. He wasn't even going out, I think, to play golf. Like he had come back, I think, Friday one weekend.
Yeah.
Obviously, the situation's going on with his hands, and there's a lot of speculation about his health. With that regard, so the internet did what the internet does and started to create some hoopla.
I mean, you know, I mean, obviously he's not healthy, right? I think that's kind of, I mean, just the thing that they said he's having the vascular issues, just something my dad has, right? My dad, you know, was having trouble getting blood down into his legs, and he actually had a pretty big wound on his leg, and it wouldn't heal because there was no blood flow, you know, getting down, you know, to like down to his ankles and stuff to kind of to allow it to heal.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it can be a very serious thing, a very serious issue, right? So I would say, obviously, you know, and this is something they admitted that he has.
Sure.
Right. So it's not to be taken lightly. It's not like it's like, oh, this is just
Yeah, he has a common cold or something.
Yeah, right. So.
Yeah. I've heard that one of the treatments for it, you know, going back to the bruising, is that you get like IVs, injections into your hands to help some of the blood flow. I don't know if that's actually the case, but I've heard that that's some of the speculation as to like why he's been, because they're saying that it's from frequent handshaking. Last time that I checked, you shake hands like this, not the other way around.
I don't know. Yeah. You know, again, what they had to do, I only know this because this is what they did to my dad, right? But they actually had to kind of laser some of the veins shut.
Sure.
And then what it did is it actually, you know, the body is resilient, right? So it finds other paths to get down there. So if you're cutting off the veins, it'll find other ways to get down there. And that's actually what helped him get the blood flow down, you know, to the lower part of his legs by kind of just lasering shut some of the veins that weren't going all the way down anymore.
That's wild. Science is incredible. And RFK Jr. is wanting to get rid of all of these advancements and whatnot. But it's crazy. Like even thinking, I'm sure that wasn't a thing like 10, 15, 20 years ago. These developments, even in the past couple years, have been crazy. But I'm interested in not only like was this hoopla, you know, floating around in, if you want to call it, I guess, the left side of the internet. Alex Jones, someone that we've talked about here on the show before, had something to say about all of this situation.
I predict Trump is going to have some type of collapse within the next 12 months at the current trajectory. I'm not saying he's going to collapse. I'm saying if he doesn't take his foot off the gas pedal, I guarantee you, and I've got stamina, way better than most people. If I had Trump's job at 51 for a month, I would have a nervous breakdown.
What is he doing to keep his foot on the? He's riding the gas. He's riding the gas. He's riding the brake.
Yeah.
He's riding the brake.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think there's ever been a president who's kind of like taken it as, you know, laid back as Donald Trump does, right? The guy doesn't worry. The guy plays golf all weekend. He spends more time at Mar-a-Lago than he does in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
You know, kind of holding court down there for people to come and see him. They said he's building the ballroom or whatever here because it resembles the one at Mar-a-Lago.
Sure.
And that he likes the, what's the other outside patio thing too, right? That's taking up the Rose Garden.
He got rid of the Rose Garden.
Because he likes to sit at Mar-a-Lago and decide what music's going to play with his iPad and kind of connects it to the music there. Yeah, I mean, this guy is like, he's riding the brake. There's no foot on the gas.
They hand him his executive order. He's like, what's this one? This guy doesn't know. Or the other day, I saw this clip where, you know, every single time that he's like, oh, you know, I got it in one of my briefings. And he'll show the press his briefings. It's like a PowerPoint slide because this guy doesn't read. He doesn't even read his briefings. They have to present it to him the same way that you try to get a kid to read with a book, just mainly pictures. You know, I can kind of see what's going on. Don't need to read the words. I got the idea from looking at it. It's the same way my dad orders food off the menu. I don't want to read the actual thing. I want to look at a picture of it. It's a lot easier that way, right?
It is. Yeah. It is. It's easier just to go to Yelp and look at the pictures to see what looks good, right?
Yeah. And again, someone that would be excited about something happening to Trump besides, I think, half of the country is JD Vance. JD Vance has been entertaining a lot of these questions with Donald Trump. He's been mentioning that he wants to go to heaven a lot more frequently. Trump has been saying, I'm trying to make my way into heaven. I hear it's not going too well, which, like, kudos to him, is pretty funny. At least he's self-aware in that regard. But JD Vance was answering some of these questions, and he does something a little bit weird here. And I want to get your reaction from one grown man to the other, if this is something that you would ever see yourself doing. Audio.
Newsom, whoever that is, he's trying to be a fake carbon copy of Donald Trump, and it just doesn't work. You can't mimic the king. You can't mimic the master. He's not trying.
I like how he says he doesn't know, like, whoever Gavin Newsom is, right? Like, you don't know who he is, right? The governor of the largest populated state in the country, fourth largest economy in the world, and you have no idea who he is. Yeah, it's just stupid, you know. And the thing is, it is working, right? He is mimicking him, and it is working, and people are loving that shit, right?
Yeah,
that
they're eating it up.
They are. They're eating it up, right? And it is making people, I think, realize, that, oh my God, is this how stupid he acts? Really? Is this what it sounds like from when it comes from somebody else?
Yeah, someone that you expect more, I guess, decorum or decency or professionalism
like
from.
We should expect out of our president, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. That was something that really got under my skin with the last time that Trump was president. They would often say, like, oh, well, he's the president, he's allowed to do that. And I feel like oftentimes it should be the opposite. It's because you're the president, you should present yourself as a good example to the rest of America.
You're the leader of the country, right? You should set the tone for the entire country.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he doesn't do that at all.
No, I wanted to ask you, though, specifically about it kind of reminds me of the last time that we reacted to something. It was the Nick Fuentes clip and him calling Gavin Newsom very handsome and insinuating that anyone that didn't call him handsome might be interested in men. JD Vance calling him king and master, like, is that I don't know. Beyond, like, the king of England, I couldn't see myself calling another grown man king or master. Does that, like, I don't know.
There's the king of Spain.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But I mean, the one thing we all know, right, is you have to play to Trump and his ego, right? So, he's going to like the fact, you're going to get on his good side by calling him the king and master, right? Yeah. He's going to like that you said that you referred to him that way. That's how he is. That's how you play to his ego. And so, I mean, that's exactly what he's doing there by calling him the king and master, is playing to his ego to get on his good side. Yeah. It's just like, the craziest thing, right? And I can't remember if we talked about this or not, right? But when he kind of met with Putin and he comes back and then he's meeting with the European leaders and he tells them on the hot mic, yeah, but I think, Putin wants to do a deal. He wants to do it for me. Really? For you? Yeah. Really? Are you that important in his life that he wants to make peace for you so that you can look good? No. Come on, man. Come back to reality.
No, and he also, like, I don't know. Again, international politics is outside of my, like, following my realm and the dynamics between it and the ways that it's supposed to be played. It's a very intricate system. Trump feels like, or at least I feel like, Trump is getting played like a fiddle. I mean, what I know about Putin, like, of course, Putin knows that you do the JD Vance thing, that you kiss a little bit of ass and you make him feel good about himself, and then you sit back and keep bombing Kiev and no one asks any questions.
Yeah. It's like, he tells them, yes, you won the 2020 election. Yeah. All right. So you play to his ego, right? And he's like, oh, so all of a sudden now he wants to do everything for Putin. Yeah. Like, yes, we're going to skip the we're going to go right to the end the war instead of a ceasefire, like everybody is saying, right? So that we can stop and negotiate, the peace.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's another situation where Trump just doesn't understand, I mean, frankly, a lot of anything. But again, they say international politics. Like, this is a very delicate game. There's a lot of pieces that are moving back and forth. There's a lot of history in these regions. And like the narcissism, you know, it can play here in the United States and you can get things done, but on the global stage, it has other consequences. I don't know if you saw, I think it was the EU's commissioner. She had the radar jammed on her plane this past week. And now they're calling Trump from Moscow or something. They're starting to write in the European articles that like he's Putin's puppet.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But yeah, you know, the Russians were the ones who are getting blamed for jamming the plane, the GPS on the plane. I mean, yeah.
And these are when you empower someone like this, when you give leeway to someone like Putin, it has consequences like this.
You know, and you keep, you know, and Trump's threats with Putin, right, there's no backbone to him, right? Because he continually makes them and he doesn't hold up to them. I mean, he's never going to put tariffs on him. He's never going to do anything to him. He's going to keep saying, you know, every once in a while he'll say he's disappointed in him, but there's never any consequences.
No.
Yeah.
No, on the contrary, now there's consequences for the U.S.-India relationship. I don't know if you've been following this, but all over India now they're protesting Trump. And I mean, largest democracy in the world. And now, well, I mean, with Modi, it's a little bit different, but you know, the proclaimed largest democracy in the world.
I was going to say, really? Is it? But, you know, I was actually reading an article about that today about how, you know, the Indian president is just upset because Trump is taking, you know, he goes, I ended the war in India and between India and Pakistan. It's over with. And Pakistan's going to nominate me for the Nobel Peace Prize because I ended their war. I mean, that thing has been going on since like 1948 when they separated, right? And it'll continue to go on many years beyond now, right? And so, you know, India saying like, you had nothing to do with this. This was like us and Pakistan deciding on the ceasefire. Like in some point again, it's going to get broken up again and they'll go at it for a little while and then there'll be another ceasefire because that's what always seems to happen.
Yeah. No. And again, it's one of these things where it's like, he doesn't understand the ethnic or religious, you know, makeup of these two countries. He doesn't understand the long history of conflict, you know, going beyond, you know, 1948. Obviously, that's when the countries are geographically separated. But this has been a religious conflict that has been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And so to just have the like arrogance that like, oh, I solved it in one day.
I solved it. It's done. It's done. You know, there's now peace between Pakistan and India because I stepped in and did it. And it's like, So, obviously India is very upset about that. And again, right, it's because he has no concept and doesn't really understand so many things that he claims to know of and be the smartest person on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's because his uncle went to MIT. I don't know if you knew this. That's why he's so smart. His uncle went to MIT. How could he not be a genius, right?
I don't know.
And then he doesn't even know what his uncle was a professor, and he always says that it was like nuclear physics or something, but it was the engineering.
I'm still wondering how he got in the University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, I probably paying a little bit. But no, I was also looking back at Trump University too. It's every time I get reminded of more and more things that this guy has done. I was watching another Netflix show on Netflix. I guess this is a docuseries that if you haven't gotten a chance to watch, I would really recommend you watching. It's called Ivy Ridge. It's about this the WASP program, which is like this international cult, essentially. It's this program. It's like the troubled teens, the troubled youth program. And TLDR, long story short, these people send their kids to essentially like a prison that they pay for. Their kids come and get kidnapped in like the middle of the night because they've been like smoking a little bit too much weed at 14, 15. They can't get their kids under control. So they pay like $30,000 a year to have their kids like kidnapped, sent to this facility where some terrible things go on. Very interesting. Apparently Mitt Romney was involved in some capacity in this because Utah is like the headquarters for this, and it brings a lot of revenue in for Utah. But just seeing, oh man, I forgot where I was going with bringing up Ivy Ridge, but Oh wow, completely lost my train of thought there. But if you haven't, if you have not seen Ivy Ridge,
I have not seen it.
I would highly recommend
on
that.
Netflix?
That's another one. Yeah, that's a Netflix one. That's a good one. My dad recommended that one to me. But going back to the JD Vance stuff, we talked about a couple weeks ago with the situation that there was a student coming from the Netherlands trying to get in, and he had a JD Vance meme on his phone, and he was denied entry into the United States. Have you seen more of these JD Vance like pictures where it's no longer images of JD Vance? So like in this TikTok that we're gonna presumably make out of this conversation that we're having right now, we're going to insert a picture of JD Vance. And all of our TikToks, the pictures that we use of JD Vance are not like actual pictures of JD Vance. They're these images that have been like heavily altered online. And now anytime that there's a picture of JD Vance online, it's not a picture of him. There's a breakdown of this that Etymology Nerd, another one of these content creators on TikTok, does. And I'd love to get your reaction to it, because it has just gotten to a point where like, he makes the point at the end of the video, but no one uses real pictures of JD Vance anymore anytime that they're talking about him on Twitter or on TikTok or on anything, including JD Vance himself now.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that people are forgetting what JD Vance's face actually looks like can be perfectly explained through Jean Baudrillard's 4 stages of simulation. In the first stage, his image was meant to be a faithful representation of reality. Most people generally understood JD Vance's Senate photograph to be an accurate depiction of its subject. But in the second stage, the representation is turned into a distortion of reality. The early Babyface and GigaChat edits were perfect examples of this, because they still clearly referred back to the original Senate portrait, and yet they also manipulated it into something else that wasn't quite real. Over time, the edits grew more and more abstracted, bringing us to the third phase of simulation, where the representation marks the absence of reality. For example, those edits where he looked like a little German child no longer referred back to the original photograph at all. That removed his face from any recognizable context and yet still pretended to be real. This is where we are right now. Stage 3 is where we really start to blur the lines between what is real and what stands in for the real. You can especially see this from how JD Vance himself posted that image of his face edited onto Leonardo DiCaprio's body. Even he was forced to acknowledge that he doesn't have ownership over his own likeness anymore, and yet the fact that he posted this image in the first place further conflates that distinction. Finally, the fourth stage is when the representation becomes more real than reality itself. Now that any new photograph or news story of JD Vance immediately gets edited by trolls, people generations down the line might have no idea what the man looked like, but they will know that these facial features were funny for some reason.
What do you think about that? Maybe textbooks in the future might not even have pictures of JD Vance.
Yeah, I guess. Hopefully they won't. Hopefully we can forget him. Hopefully, he will just be a little bleep.
Yeah.
In our history books into the future, right?
I'm curious, obviously with all the speculation going on over this past weekend, there's been a lot of conversations about like JD Vance coming into power. That personally concerns me more than Donald Trump being in power. Do you feel a similar way? Do you feel different? Like, do you feel less concerned with JD Vance? Do you feel just as concerned, or is it just kind of one of those things that you haven't really put too much mind to?
I don't really know what to think of him, right? I think, with Donald Trump, right? We know who Donald Trump is. I don't think we know who JD Vance is, right? Because I think he's like a chameleon. He tries to blend in wherever it's going to kind of benefit him the most, right? I read his book, right? I mean, to me, the guy he is there today, it's not the same guy who wrote that book, right? Talking about his family and their drugs and his upbringing and everything. And it's not the same guy who, before he got into politics was talking about how he, Donald Trump was, the devil and evil for the country. That person is not who this person is today, right? So I don't know. I don't know what we're going to get or what it would be. It's, does he have this schematic, change to like, okay, now I'm in charge and now I'm going to do the way things I want. And I can actually be me instead of this person who I have to play up to in order to get to where I want it to be, which to me is in some ways even worse, right? Because you're not who you are. You're not your authentic self. Or is he just going to okay, well, this is who I got to play to in order to stay who I want to be and to make sure that I can get elected and, be the next president of the United States. I don't know who he is. And that's kind of, I guess in some sense that is scary, right? You don't know what to expect. I mean, you know who Donald Trump is, you know who Mitch McConnell was, you know who some of these other people are. But I don't feel that I know who he is.
Yeah, and I think to your point, I don't think he knows who he is. I think he's very much, and that's what concerns me so much about him. That it just seems like he's willing to do anything for power.
Yeah.
You know, even going back to his book. Yeah, obviously the book was powerful or whatnot. It got turned into a Netflix, show or a movie or whatnot. So
Amy Adams.
Kudos to him and whatnot. But I've even heard like the way that he depicts his mother in that is very like on par, true to some extent. But he did take some leeway with writing the story, as we've talked about before. Taking some creative direction to make it a little bit more exciting and whatnot. And so like someone that's willing to do that and do that to their own mother and portray them in that way, what are they not willing to do to similar to the CEO taking the tennis hat, get some more power, get some more advantage, this dog eats dog perspective. Because I think, again, JD Vance, he's just someone that really, Trump wants power, but Trump's not willing, he wants it his way.
Yeah.
JD Vance will get power whatever way he can. And that to me, I think is a huge red flag.
Yeah.
If something were to happen, to 45 and 47.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't disagree with you there, right? We just don't know, and I think to him, I think maybe it is the power more, which is more important to him than anything.
Yeah.
Which is, I think dangerous in its own way.
Yeah, yeah. I think that I do have concerns that the second that he gets into power, it's just going to be kind of like this mask off moment where he's like, okay, mwahaha, finally I got to where I wanted to be, and now I can pull the strings the way that I want to. Going back to a conversation that we've had a couple times here on the show with the ICE raids. The last time that we talked, there was the individual that ran into traffic, escaping an ICE raid in Home Depot.
Yeah.
What's the situation been like in your district?
I mean, these things haven't stopped, right? I think it's still kind of bad in LA. There's no more National Guard or anything, right? That's kind of gone away. But they are still going after people. They're still not going after the violent criminals. They're still going after people who are trying to work and make a living for themselves and provide for their families. They're still going now. You're hearing about how they're going into hospitals. Yeah. There's just the quota is more important than anything else, right? It doesn't matter who we pick up. We're just going to pick up anybody because Stephen Miller says we have to have this many arrested every day. So we're gotta hit our quota so we keep our job. Now they got this, this big recruitment thing. Have you seen those commercials and everything?
I haven't seen any of the commercials.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, defend the homeland.
Oh yeah, some of the advertising, protect your culture or whatnot.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, and it's like, again, they're not dog whistles anymore.
No.
They're very like blatant. Like this is some of the propaganda that was coming out of these fascist governments in the 1930s and 1940s, where it's like, oh, you have to defend your culture from the invader.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible. That's bad.
No, it's very bad.
Yeah,
and it's I don't know. To me, it's just hard to believe where we're living right now, and this is it and what it's becoming. But, they're taking anybody, any age. There's really no qualifications. It's just come here and apply. And, what is the criteria, right? Nobody knows. It's just like, okay, are you willing to beat somebody's head in because they're brown and black? Okay, you're hired.
Yeah. Yeah, they sent my barber a job application.
Really?
Yeah, they sent because he like worked as a corrections officer for like a year. So I'm back. He's cutting my hair. He's like, I'm thinking about taking that $60,000 bonus with ICE and just getting out of there. And I'm like, I don't think it's that easy. I think you have to work there for like a year or 2 years or whatnot. But
I mean, I would think like in the military, right? You get these bonuses, but the bonus is never paid out. Like it's never like flat out, right?
Sure.
It's paid over time.
Yeah.
And so they want you to stay there a certain amount of time, so they pay out the bonus over a certain time period.
Yeah.
In order for you to earn it.
Yeah. Stephen Miller's not going to let that slide. I'm sure he's thought about it a little bit more than that.
And even then, I wouldn't even trust that you're going to get the bonus.
Yeah, right.
They may promise it to you, but they'll find a loophole why he didn't get paid.
Yeah, exactly. ICE has been doing this new thing, which I learned about today, but since they don't want people to know where their detention centers are, they're like, if they notice that they're being followed by someone recording them after they've picked someone up, they're just not going to drop the person off until they are no longer being followed. Have you heard anything about this?
I haven't heard this. But I mean, we know where the detention centers are, at least, around, you got Los Angeles, you got Orange County. There's one in Los Angeles, Orange County. You got the big one in Adelanto. I'm sure there's one in San Bernardino County too, but I haven't heard this, but I guess they just don't want them to know. I mean, look, they're already taking these people, right? They're not giving them numbers right away as they should have. They're not letting them make phone calls like they're supposed to. They're just going in there and hiding, and nobody knows where they're going or how to get in touch with anybody. I mean, they are not following the law as the way it's supposed to be doing, right? They are not, I guess they think because they're not citizens, or they may not be citizens, that they don't need to, that the law, the Constitution doesn't apply to them, which we all know that the court said that's not true. The Constitution still does apply to you.
Yeah.
Whether you're a citizen or not.
Yeah. And on that note, is there anything like either organizations that you know of, or can someone that's dealing with something like this reach out to your office to try to get some assistance? Like what are the steps? How can people
definitely, right? If you are... So there's different organizations around, right? I know in LA County, Churla is like a big organization that people can reach out to for help and assistance. I mean, they can come to our office as well, too. If anybody needs help or support, they can reach out to us, and we'll be there to kind of help and do what we can. And if we can't, put them in contact, the ACLUs and other organizations that's very involved in this, in trying to ensure that people's rights, that they're getting their rights, like I said, their right to make a phone call, their right to be in contact with their family, their due process. These are all things that these people are due, right? That the courts keep saying that the Trump administration is not following, but yet the Trump administration just doesn't care.
Yeah.
All right.
Seems, again, going back to this idea of just consolidating power in the executive.
Yeah. Well, it's like my wife, I keep telling her he can't do that. And she's like, why don't you get it? It's like, he's doing it.
Yeah.
And I know he's doing it, but he's not supposed to be able to do it, right?
Yeah.
And that's the frustrating part.
Yeah, yeah. It reminds me of when we had Aaron Parnas on, I asked him if he was using ICE as like his own personal military because he can't, or, because he doesn't have the political capital to use the military. And Parnas told us like, well, he can't use the military. And I'm like, but he is.
Yeah.
Like it is. He's already using it. So just seeing all the rules and all of these different things get broken. And it has gotten to a point where it just does feel like it doesn't matter what the courts tell him. It doesn't matter what Congress tells him.
Yeah. I mean, he's surrounded by yes people who for whatever reason feel that an authoritarian leader is what we need in this country to get it back on the straight and narrow. I couldn't disagree more. I think, we were going, like I was reading an article today where this guy was like, oh, people are just, Democrats are just upset because, Donald Trump has just turned this country around. The economy's like doing so much better. The economy was already doing great, right? He's just, he's making peace out, out in the international community, right? He's ending wars. I'm like, what has he ended?
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything,
No.
right? I mean, what dream world are you living in? Because he told you he's doing this, that means he is.
Yeah.
Gas is under $2. I put gas in Maryland and Virginia and in California, and while I would say it is cheaper out here,
Yeah.
it still ain't $2.
No.
Below $2.
No, I went to the grocery store the other day. Given was Whole Foods, $13 for 12 eggs.
Yeah.
$13 for a dozen eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Well, on that note, do know that you have to get going, Representative. So thank you so much for joining us yet again on another episode of the Who Dem podcast.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, as always. Great.
Absolutely. Awesome.